Hello and welcome to our all candidates discussion for the Burnaby-New Westminster riding. My name is Angie Whitfield and I'm the CEO here at the Burnaby Board of Trade. And joining me today is Daniel Ampong, an independent candidate, and Raj Chauhan with the BC NDP party. And before we get started, I just want to take a moment to recognize that we are on the traditional homelands of the Hakamiam and Squamish speaking people, and we extend our appreciation for the opportunity to hold this discussion on their territory. I also want to take a minute to thank the Burnaby Board of Trade's annual partners. We have a strong group of partners that enable us to do the work that we do here in Burnaby. Our silver partners, Appia Developments, BMO, Fortis BC, Pacific Link College, Prospera Credit Union, TD Insurance, Trans Mountain, and the Vancouver Port Authority. I'd also like to thank our gold partners, ABC Recycling, BD Developments, Electronic Arts, Pacific Blue Cross, and Scotiabank. And our platinum sponsors, Alexander College, BCIT School of Business and Media, the Burnaby Now, Parklands Corporation, and Simon Fraser University. These organizations are pillars in our community and continue to support the work that we do here at the Burnaby Board of Trade, and we are very grateful that they do. Now, to kick things off for today's discussion, I'm going to be giving each of our candidates 2 minutes to introduce themselves and tell you all a little bit more about the work that they're doing and what they hope to accomplish if elected. And then we're going to move on to 5 questions that have been raised as issues specific to the Burnaby business community, and we'll get their take on that, and they'll each have a minute to answer. We're going to rotate who goes first on each round, and let's get started. I'm going to go from left to right here. So for the first introductions, I'm going to pass over to Raj. I'll give you 2 minutes to say hello and introduce yourself.
Thank you for hosting this important debate for all the candidates in Burnaby. It's an important election, and I'm glad to see the independent candidate, Mr. Ampong, is here. I'm disappointed that Conservative candidate, Mr. Suri, chose not to participate. My name is Raj Chauhan, your BC NDP candidate in Burnaby-New Westminster. This is my new riding. I would also like to recognize that I'm speaking to you from the traditional lands of Kakayt, Hunkaminam, and Squamish speaking people. I thank them for sharing this land and for their partnership on shared priorities. I want to begin by saying things are tough out here. I have been talking to people at the doorsteps who are worried about how they are going to pay their bills and build a future here in Burnaby. We are committed to helping people by bringing down the costs of everyday life. We need a leader who is focused on taking action, a leader like David Eby. Under David Eby's leadership, we have reduced car insurance, childcare bills, and hydro rates. We are helping families save for the future. For businesses, we are reducing costs by doubling the exemption threshold for the employer's health tax, a big break for small and medium-sized businesses, and now 90% of businesses pay no EHT. We also gave new tools to municipalities so they can provide property tax relief. We have also helped restaurants save by allowing them to purchase alcohol at wholesale prices. This has saved them hundreds of millions of dollars. By taking on speculators and removing red tape on housing development, we are building 300,000 new middle-class homes so that the workforce behind the businesses are able to call Burnaby home. With new opportunities to train for better paying jobs, we are building a stronger Burnaby, but my opponents don't share this vision for our future. John Rustad would give big breaks to those with the most, like Chip Wilson, and make you pay the price. His tax cuts for the top 2% would be paid for in a higher fees on us. We know this because this is exactly what he did when he was in government with Christy Clark. He could not be trusted to look out for people in Burnaby then, and we cannot trust him now. He is the risk we cannot afford. I'm focused on making our community a place where businesses grow and thrive. When times are tough, we look out for one another. Together, we can build a BC where you don't just get by, you get ahead. Where the people who keep our economy moving can live in the community where they work, where we have fast and reliable transit to move you from schools, stores, homes, and work, where we have world-class healthcare so our employees are productive, where the economy works for everyone, not just the wealthy. Thank you so much again for providing this opportunity for us to speak to you. Let's have the very productive debate.
Thank you. Thank you, Raj. And over to Daniel. Say hello and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm Daniel Kofirampong. I've been living in New West for the last 34 years. I'm a local business owner, and I see what people are facing where I am on Columbia Street in New West and Burnaby as well. And it's tough for everybody. You know, it's people cannot afford houses, students. Sometimes you have to have like 4 or 5 people to live in 2 bedrooms before they'll be able to pay their rent and stuff. Going to school is tough. Medical is tough. When you go to the hospital, you always gotta wait for so long before they even see somebody. When you go to emergency, it takes so long before a nurse will come and see you. Me, I've experienced all this, and as you know, being a local business person, it's not easy. When you have employees, you gotta pay bills, you gotta pay rent, you gotta pay leases, you gotta pay taxes and everything. This is the reason why I decided to run. Because me, I'm a local person. I'm not a politician. I just decided to do it because I see what everybody around the province is going through. As Raj he's a politician. Everything that he's saying, you know, we heard it before. It's not the first time. He's been in office for the last 25 years. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm here. I want to help the people. I want to help the community. I want to help the community grow. I want to help businesses save money. I want to help the young families so that they be able to afford house. Me, I'm a father of 4. I have a wife. I have kids, business. I have a mortgage. I know it's not easy. This is why I decided to run as an independent. I could have stepped away to make sure that you guys they go ahead for both parties, but I decided to keep my name in it, so that way I'll be able to run and make a difference. And life is not easy in the province. NDP has been in power for the last 7 years. Nothing has changed. In the same as in the city that we're in, it's the same things every time. Whenever it's election, the politicians will come around and tell you everything you want to hear. Once the election is done, you will never see them. When the election is coming around, they come in your house, they're calling you to tell you everything that you want to hear. By the end of the day, that's not what's going to happen. This is why I'm running. I'm one of you guys. I'm your neighbor. I'm your resident. I'm your brother. I'm your friend. And I know I can make a difference. You know, we have the same people in power for so long. Nothing changes. Nothing has changed. And when you go to the polls, you go to vote for these 2 parties, nothing is going to change. That's why me as an independent, I'm here. Give me the chance, give me the opportunity to make a difference for your lives and for your household. So I'm here to listen to you, to help you, every resident in the Burnaby community, every business person, every student, every wife and kid and family, whatever you guys need, I'm the one that can represent you guys. Politicians say this every time, and it's the same things every year. Same every 4 years, the same thing. Either it's municipal or provincial or federal. It's the same thing every year. So I think it's time we give young people like me a chance, individuals like me a chance, so we can go to the parliament and represent you. We will listen to you. We feel your pain. I'm going through the same thing every person is going through. No, I'm not rich.
Thank you. So when we see that hand rise from the Burnaby Board of Trade there, that means we're up to our 2 minutes. So thank you for the introduction, Daniel. That was great. All right, I'm going to move over to some of our Q&A, our questions period now. You're each going to get a minute on this one, so just be mindful of the time, and when the hand goes up, that just time to wrap up. So first, we're going to begin with the issue that is front of mind with all businesses. It was identified in our BC Chamber's impact study as #1 issue affecting businesses, and that is the increased cost of doing business in our province. Can you please comment on, if elected, what you would do to reduce that burden on businesses here in Burnaby? And for this one, we'll start with you, Daniel.
I think, tax break for businesses will help a lot. With the interest rate so high, everybody's lease has been so high. And it's very hard for business to cope with it, because to pay employees, to pay your taxes, to pay your electricity bill and everything, it's so tough. What I will do is I work with all the communities and all the government to make sure that businesses get tax breaks, especially small businesses and the mom and pop shops. They are the cornerstone to our economy. So I'll find any way possible to work with everybody in the government to make sure that they get tax breaks. And even if it means the lease, we have to work something so that way the lease is not so expensive, that we do be able to make money. Because me, myself, I'm a local business myself, so I know exactly how everybody's feeling. I feel it every day when I come to work, when I have to pay mortgage and then pay lease at the same time. It's not easy, but there's always a solution. I cannot promise that I will make all these crazy changes, which I know it's not possible, but I know we will work with all the communities, work with all their landlords and the government to make sure we get tax backs for everybody. So that way they'll be able to take some money home and feed their families.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay, over to you, Raj.
Yeah, it's interesting that Daniel is saying politicians do this, politicians don't do that. Well, question Daniel has to answer for himself is, if politicians are that bad, why are you running for politics? Like I've been in politics for the last almost 20 years, yes. And my record speaks for itself that in Burnaby, I was able to help businesses in a very big way. I was just not sitting there and making promises. I have delivered for the new hospital. I have worked on our file to make sure the employers do not pay employers' health tax. 90% of them will not be paying that because we have doubled the threshold. I have been very active in the community with small businesses. Sorry. I heard something. Anyway, so we have also decided keeping electricity rates low and delivering savings an average of $400 in savings to small businesses through the BC Electricity Affordability Credit. We have cut the small business tax and keeping it at 25% lower than when Rustad was in government. And Daniel also would know that he was running for BC United before Kevin Falcon pulled the plug. So his party, previous party, he wanted to run for 16 years. They were in power. They did not do anything for small business and ordinary people. On the other hand, in the last 7 years, as I have stated, some of these steps that we have taken, helping the small businesses, attracting more business. We have gone on trade missions to attract more business to Burnaby. We have more research and development companies in Burnaby in my own backyard. We have largest film studios. We have research companies. So that's what I stand for, and I would continue to work for businesses in Burnaby, because without a business, we don't have any economy. Without businesses, we won't have any jobs. So that's what I have done in the past. I pledge to continue the same in the future.
Thank you, Raj. All right. So our second question is the issue that's at the forefront of everyone's mind, including businesses: housing affordability. Impacts our young families, our seniors, employers, employees. There's an urgent need for immediate action. Everyone knows this. If elected, can you please comment on how you would increase the housing needs here in Burnaby? And we'll start with you on this one, Raj.
Okay. As we have done in the past, by taking on speculators and removing red tape on housing development, we are building 300,000 new middle-class homes so that the workforce here for the business can live in Burnaby. We have, on housing part itself, my record speaks that in Burnaby we have spent over $300 million for example, we have built 52 units supportive housing on Norland, 142 homes on Dania Home Society, 61 homes for L'Arche Foundation, and 138 for Success, 425 affordable co-ops for seniors, and 331 Hall Tower affordable rental homes that we are developing now. 369 students housing at SFU and 464 student housing at BCIT. I fully understand and appreciate people are going through very rough times. Like affordability is not what people have when it comes to owning a house, but we are taking all those steps to make sure that ordinary people, are able to afford housing, and we will continue in that direction to bring more investment in Burnaby, encourage builders so they can help, and they will continue to build more in our areas, in our city. We have also been working closely with the cities all over the province to reduce the red tape and also reduce the time when it comes to approvals for those plans. So we are taking all those steps, and we will continue to work hard and work closely with people to make sure we meet their needs.
Thank you, Raj. Okay, over to you, Daniel.
Well, what I will do is by collaborating with all level of governments, private developers, and community organizers, simplifying zoning regulation, speeding up the approval process for new developments, which will increase the housing supply. I will also explore ways to incentivize the creation of diverse housing options from the rental to ownership to meet the needs of various groups in our community. We just make sure that we build more affordable housing. Saying that we're going to build 300,000 houses I know it's not going to happen. Last election, they said they were going to build so many houses, but I don't think they did. So, as you know, like I said, it's election time, so I don't know how they're going to be able to build 300,000 houses. But like they said they'll do, so it is what it is.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to our third question, is an area that the Burnaby Board of Trade has invested in heavily over the past year, recognizing that this is a really key area for business success, and that is the workforce development and ensuring that we have the workforce available to meet future needs, that people have the training required, and the opportunities are connected. The opportunities for employment are connected with those that are trained in order to fulfill those roles. If elected, can you let us know what your priorities would be in respects to addressing the labor challenges that we're currently experiencing in the province, and more specifically here in Burnaby? And this one, Daniel, you'll get to start.
Yeah. I will focus on expanding job training and skills collaboration for educational to ensure institutions and businesses that workers are prepared for high demand fields, supporting immigration and ensuring that the new arrivals can quickly integrate into the workforce. We'll also address the labor shortages by promoting inclusivity and access to skills training, so we can better meet the evolving needs of Burnaby businesses. So we work with all levels of governments to make sure that is like train more plumbers, train more electricians, train more welders, or get more nurses in the hospitals, and get more doctors. So that way we'll be able to have more people in the workforce.
Thank you, Daniel. Hey, Raj.
It's very important question that, if businesses can only be successful when they have qualified, skilled employees who are able to do the job. So what we are doing is to help especially small businesses to get the workers they need with more skills training, more housing, and more available lower cost childcare. We are taking those steps. But, like concretely, what we are doing, most BC residents 19 and older, regardless of financial need, they can apply for a grant to cover up 3,500 for short-term skills training at public post-secondary institutions. Those employees can go there and upgrade their skills. It could be plumbing, electrician, and it could be anything. And they will also the other one is low and middle income students can get up to 4,000 per year for full-time studies. This money is approved upfront and does not need to be paid back. So this is not a promise, it's already in place. So we are going to strengthen those steps that we have to make sure that workers are trained. We are also focusing on apprenticeship. Like we are working closely with the employers and the unions because the younger people, when they come into power, into workforce, they need that help. So apprenticeship would help them.
Thank you, Raj. Big question to answer in a minute, so I appreciate you both doing that quickly. Minute comes up quick. Okay, so our fourth question, we're going to be looking at one of the cornerstone industries of our Burnaby's economy, and that's the film industry. 66% of studio space for Metro Vancouver is right here in Burnaby, and the spill off to our economy from that industry is significant. Recently, the current government has promised that if elected, that they would be looking at refreshing the tax incentives to ensure that Burnaby remains competitive. BC remains competitive in this industry. So for this question, Raj, I'm hoping you can speak to that and elaborate on what you would do if committed. And Daniel, we would be curious to see how you would support this important industry within Burnaby. And we will start with you, or we'll start with Raj on this one, please.
Okay, thank you. I can talk about this subject for hours. For the last 16 years, I have been very closely associated with one of the largest film studios outside of Hollywood, and they are in my backyard called Canadian Motion Pictures Park. Their president, Alec Vitalovich, is a good friend of mine. I've been to his studios regularly to see what kind of films are being shot there and how many people, thousands of people work there. So this morning, he endorsed me publicly, and I will read his statement to you. For the last 15 years, as a dedicated advocate for creative industries, Raj has consistently championed the needs of those working in film, production, and animation. His unwavering commitment to fostering a strong and vibrant film community has attracted significant investments and brought new jobs to the region. Raj has always worked tirelessly to ensure Burnaby remains a hub for creative industry, signed by Alec Vitalovich. So that's what he said this morning. And as you have said, that we have provided those incentives, that we are going to continue to provide those incentives to make sure that Burnaby remains very competitive and remains actually the center of film production. Yeah, so it's we have Bridge Studios, we have Canadian Motion Pictures Park. Like together, they have brought billions of dollars of business here in Burnaby and helped thousands and thousands of jobs. And I will continue to work closely with both of them.
Thank you, Raj. And Daniel.
I really like the fact that the film studios in Burnaby, because it helps the community a lot. People get jobs and they come here. Everybody benefits. Me, myself, I benefit from this because most of the time they send actors to the salon for them to do their hair, same as what some of the business in the community. The film industry is a significant contributor to Burnaby's economy, and it's important to keep our region competitive. I'll be open to reviewing the tax incentives to ensure they remain effective and continue to attract film production to Burnaby. In addition, supporting workforce development programs tailored to the film and creative industries, which will ensure we have the talent needed to support and continue growth in this sector. We need this in Burnaby. It helps us. We all gain. Everybody gain. And I'll do everything in my power to make sure we keep it here so they don't go anywhere else.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. Now, for our final question, I wanted to give you both the opportunity to speak directly to the business community here in Burnaby and give you the opportunity to let them know, if you are elected, what it is that you will do to support them directly. And for this one, we will start with you, Daniel.
My top priorities for business communities. If elected, my priorities will include ensuring that Burnaby remains a business-friendly environment. That includes advocating for infrastructure improvement, such as transit, digital connectivity, to support local businesses. I will also work to simplify regulatory process and provide business with access to resources and support programs, particularly for small and medium-sized enterprises. Encouraging sustainable business practices will also be a key focus as it aligns with the long-term economic environmental growth.
Well, thank you, Daniel. And Raj.
Well, what I want to say here is that, the businesses in British Columbia, in Burnaby, all over Canada and around the world are facing global challenges right here at home and all over the world. A slower global economy, higher interest rates, inflation, labor shortages, and for some, the effects of pandemic. So all those factors are there, and I feel the pain that the people have gone through. What we want a BC where small business don't just succeed, but they have the opportunity to thrive and prosper. As I have said in my opening statement, that we have really paid a serious close attention to the needs of the businesses. Like, for example, doubling the exemption threshold for employers' health tax, so 90% of the businesses don't pay any EHT anymore, keeping the electricity rates low, and cutting the small business taxes and keeping 25% lower than when Rustad was in government, and also providing restaurants, pubs, and bars with access to wholesale liquor prices, saving them over 240 million so far. So again, we together, we can work together. We can listen to the needs of the business community to make sure that they thrive and be successful. And as your MLA, as I have done since 2005, I will continue to meet regularly with small and medium-sized businesses and to listen to their issues, to make sure that I'm your stronger voice in Victoria, to make sure that we have our share of investment in Burnaby. And that's what I have done. Since 2017, I was instrumental, along with my other colleagues, to bring over $3 billion, the public funded project to Burnaby. And we will continue to work together and make sure that our voices are heard in Victoria and businesses are successful.
Well, thank you both for putting your names forward and running in this election, and for your continued service to our communities. I wish you both the best of luck in the upcoming election. And for those that are tuning in, a reminder that you can now cast your vote by mail. There's advanced voting open. And of course, mark your calendar for Election Day, Saturday, October 19th. It's important that we get everybody out. So again, thank you both for joining me. It was a pleasure to sit down with you both and speak directly, and I appreciate the time, and best of luck. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Again, thanks for the opportunity. All the best.
Bye.